if you're scared that leaving your partner is going to make your partner kill you, chances are your partner's going to kill you if you stay. Just a matter of time. Why do victims stay in abusive relationships? That's our topic today. Charmaine, welcome back.
Hi, Francesca.
All right, I know that we got really animated before we started recording this episode on this specific topic because there's so much, so many reasons why people stay. I don't think we will be able to cover them all, probably because we can't think of all of the reasons. We obviously don't know all of the reasons, but we are certainly very eager and passionate about sharing the reasons that we know of, so that maybe it can give a bit of insight for people listening. If you're listening for yourself, or if you're just listening out of interest, or to help somebody else. So, Charmaine, why do victims stay in abusive relationships?
Like you said, there are so many reasons. It could be because they don't want to have that tag of divorcee. Better for worse, for uh, unconditional love, and also maybe the fear of leaving and being alone. There are just so many reasons. Absolutely, so many reasons.
Okay, so I actually, as you're talking, I'm writing more things come to my mind. So I'm making an actual list. And you mentioned the better for worse. So let's dig into that for a second. The for better for worse is not meant for abuse. That for better for worse is meant in times of hardship. Maybe it's financial hardship. Maybe it is health hardship. Those are not reasons to leave a partner, unless those are being used as abusive tactics. So if the financial is a financial abuse, not just the loss of a job, you have to be kind of pay attention, right? The financial struggle, where is it coming from? Is it because it's financial abuse, or is it because it's just a temporary situation that's going to be resolved, right? So for better for worse does not include abuse in that equation or in that promise. You mentioned also the stigma of being divorced, and that comes from cultural, right? Like the cultural, the culture, the religion. I know that when I went through my first divorce, the reason it took me so long to go through making that decision was because no one in my family had ever been divorced. And I was scared that my whole family would look down on me and try to convince me to go back and to not to actually go divorce, just because it will look bad in society's view, and it would not reflect well on the family. But surprisingly, when I did tell my parents, it got to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore, and I told my parents that I was done, and I got 100% full support. So sometimes what we think people's reaction is going to be is going to surprise us to be completely different. So here I was thinking that I was not going to get the support, and I actually did get the support from the family. They understood fully. So yeah. Yeah. So when it comes to the cultural aspect of it, you may or may not get that support. So I don't want to give false hopes. But the thing is, it's your life. Culture is culture, and culture changes depending where you live. So make the best decision for yourself. If you're not safe, I can't swear on the episode, but let's just say, don't worry about the culture. Just worry about your safety. Right. And the same with religion. Maybe it's a religious belief, right? Your religion, you know what? If your religion forces you to stay in an abusive relationship, you need to really look at your religion seriously, because why would Why would an organization tell you to stay in an abusive? It says a lot. It says a lot about the organization if they tell you you should put up with the abuse. So the love conquers everything. I was telling Charmaine this before we started recording that, someone recently said to me about love's supposed to conquer everything. No, you can't change another person. No matter how much you love them, you can't change them. You can only love yourself enough to conquer yourself, but you can't conquer somebody else's behavior with your love. Uh, it just doesn't work that way unless they want to change, right? Yeah. Charmaine, looks like you want to say something, so I'm just going to pause there.
Carry on with the points you have, and then we'll
Okay. Um, so let's
go the
see. Yeah. So another reason people stay is fear of the unknown. What's going to happen to me if I leave this relationship? I don't know what to do, where to go, what my life is going to look like. So sometimes the fear of the unknown is bigger than the fear of staying and putting up with the abuse. Um, just not having the resources or the knowledge on how to go about it. But typically, that's one of the fears. Another fear that keeps some people stuck in abusive relationships is the fear of what might the abuser do if you leave them. The fear of revenge, the fear of um, being hurt, or maybe even unalive you, right? Maybe to even kill you, don't know. So depending on what the relationship is like, that can be a main reason for people to stay because they are scared, seriously scared for the life. But the thing is, if you're scared that leaving your partner is going to make your partner kill you, chances are your partner is going to kill you if you stay. Just a matter of time. If that's the kind of person they are, the writing is on the wall. And the thing is, you can get support and you can leave safely. There's smart ways to go about it. There are ways to exit safely and not have to put up with it. So staying should not be an option. Leaving should be done very wisely in a very strategic, planned matter with someone who can help you, someone who's done it and has helped other people. So there are lots of professionals out there that can give you guidance. If that is your situation, if you're staying because you're afraid of what they might do to you after you leave for leaving, reach out to us. We can help you. We can help you get in touch with the people that can help you. There's no fee for this, by the way. I just want to make sure that people understand that this is totally free of charge. We will connect you with who you need to be connected with if you need. Okay, so fear was one. Let's see. Another reason people stay is the financial support. Sometimes it's the lifestyle. I'm just going to go with the lifestyle first, where maybe your abuser provides you with very lavish lifestyle, the big house, the fancy cars, the fancy clothes, designer clothes, and maybe you have memberships and like yacht clubs or whatever, and you like the status that life gives you, and you don't want to lose that, and you put up with abuse because of that. So if that's the reason you stay, I have a question for you. And this is a question I asked myself. So it's not judgmental. Uh, it's a question that I asked myself when I was in my first relationship where I was not working and the bills were paid for. I didn't get to have a lavish lifestyle. I did not have any of that. I had no access to finances. So I didn't have that part. But it got to the point where I realized that me staying was just transactional at that point because what made me what made me different from somebody being in the streets selling sex for a roof over their head than me staying being mistreated just to have a roof over my head because I didn't have an income. I didn't have a job, right? So you might want to ask yourself, Is that how you value yourself? Just kind of want to put it out there, right? Is it really that important to you that your self-worth is so low that you value these things more than your personal self-worth? Because that's where it's at. For me, that's my opinion. That's my personal opinion. I'm not judging. Just want you to think about that. Um, another reason people stay, one of the reasons that people may be staying is because they think they can help the abuser get better. They can help them become a better person. With it doesn't happen. Doesn't matter. It doesn't happen. You can't help somebody unless the person also is doing their part and wanting to be better. So there is that part of the equation. But chances are, if the abuser is not interested, you cannot help them be a better person. And maybe they would become a better person 20, 30, 40 years down the road. What's your life worth? Do you really want to spend it doing that? Right? There's that too. You love them so much. Love yourself enough, please. Let's see what else. One other reason that people may be staying is they don't have the support system if they leave. They have no family. They've been isolated, so they have no family close by. They have no friends because they've been alienated. Because none of your friends were good enough for them, and slowly you were detached by them. Maybe you even live in a remote area. You have no access to finances. You have no job. So even with that, there are ways to leave. Maybe you got kids. That's another one. You got kids and you go, oh, but I want the kids to have a stable family. I want the kids to have their other parent. Staying because of the kids, you are teaching the kids that abusive relationships are okay. So kids are the main reason you should leave an abusive relationship, so you can set a good example of what is not okay to accept. Because staying, you are teaching them that either being an abuser is okay or that being the victim is okay, and you're normalizing it. And is that the future you want for them? So think about that when it comes to wanting to provide that family environment for the kids. That, oh, the kids are not getting abused. Yes, they are. They're witnessing it. They are witnessing it. So really, really consider that part. You're not doing the kids a favor. Let's see. The other one, and you brought this one up when before we recorded, Charmaine, is like they brainwash you into thinking that you're not going to survive on your own. No one's ever going to love you, that you're worthless, and you're better off with them being abused than outside without them, because no one will give you even an ounce of dignity according to them. So that's one other reason. And yeah, I think I've covered my whole list. I think passing it on to you. Can you think of anything else or any of these points you want to expand on?
I think we've covered most of the important ones. So I think we can go into talking about experiences and what to do when things like this happen, when you feel like you need to stay, you need to start questioning yourself if this is the kind of life that you want to lead till you breathe your last breath. Do you want to be unhappy because your situation is only going to get progressively worse? Now, from personal experience, when I was threatened, when my life was threatened, I knew that it was going to be a matter of time, because if they're threatening at one stage or another, it is a very huge possibility that they will carry their threats out. So if you, as Francesca said, if you are being threatened, don't stay. Don't stay. And if you cannot move out at that point in time, make sure that you inform someone, or even if that someone has to be the cops, just inform that this is what has happened, but I don't want to take any action right now. But should something happen to me, this is who you need to catch or question or whatever. And it is important. It's a very huge red flag. It's a very important red flag to not ignore. If threats are coming in, it's only a matter of time. Remember that. If they're describing what they're going to be doing to you, take it seriously and do not stay. Do not stay. Make a getaway plan. Make sure that your getaway plan is safe. Even if you have to get away with absolutely no finances, do that. Find a way, but make sure that your safety is first. Nothing is going to become better.
Yeah.
The brainwashing part, again, most victims are hungry and tired, mentally and physically exhausted, because that is how they're being worn down. So when you're being worn down mentally and physically, you're easier to manipulate, you're weak, physically weak, unslept, your mind is also weak, unfortunately. And that is when they start convincing you that your place is with them. You cannot leave. You have no one. No one is going to pay attention. No one's going to say, hey, I'm there for you. The minute you walk out on your abuser, you're isolated, as Francesca mentioned. And it is scary when you're being coached into believing that you are nothing, you are worthless, you are useless, you are nothing without them. The only time you are going to get that importance is when you are with them. Don't believe it. Do not fall for this. When you leave, when you finally decide to make that move and get out, that is when you're going to discover that everything they have been telling you is misleading. There is so much life away from your current situation. But your main thing is, if the threats are coming in, just make sure that you have some sort of plan to keep yourself safe. Tell a family member, tell friends, tell whoever you need to, but just take it seriously, take it very seriously.
You know what I'm thinking? I think the next episode, we're going to dedicate it on how to leave an abusive relationship. And then after that, we'll talk about what happens after life after leaving an abusive relationship. But I think based on everything we've shared so far, addressing how do we leave an abusive relationship when you've been isolated, what are all the different ways to leave safely? Before we end this episode, I'm just going to say one thing about that, and that is, don't tell your abuser you're leaving. We will talk about more about that in the next episode, so that we cover some of the ways to do it safely and wisely, for you, for your kids if you have kids, for your family members, and for your friends, because they get affected as well in some cases. So with that, any last words on, was there more that you wanted to share? I just wanted to put that in before I forgot. Was there more that you wanted to share?
Stay strong and believe in yourself.
Yeah.
No, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Know your worth. Just know your worth. You are worth it, and you need to believe that, and don't lose that hope. There is hope.
Yeah. And if you don't know your worth and you don't know how to find your worth, maybe we'll do an episode on how to find your worth as well. So stay tuned. We got so much to share. All right. So thank you for listening. And hopefully this was helpful to you. We would love to hear your feedback. If you're finding any of this information useful, informative, educational for yourself or for people that you know, please do share these episodes with people. The more people know about it, the more we can help people protect themselves. And we're spreading good stuff around the world, because no one deserves to be abused. Everybody deserves to be living a loving, fulfilling, happy life. And yeah, we're going to leave it with that today. Bye for now.